The press coverage of this event was sad. Sell your stock. I don't care. Do I think Tesla will be worth more than this in 5 years? I think the answer is yes.
Hey, I'm Steven and this is Solving the Money Problem. If you're new, welcome. If you're not, welcome back. So yesterday, Elon Musk appeared on the Sway podcast with Kara Swisher and had some really interesting things to say, including thoughts about Tesla's stock price, the future of the company, and of course, how incompetent Wall Street analysts are at, wait for it, drum roll, analyzing Tesla stock. There's a link in the description to the full interview. I highly recommend it. I'm only playing about 2 minutes of content from the entire interview, so there's tons more. Check it out. But for now, let's get into the video. But first, hey guys, if you're in the US and you'd like to help out the channel and get a free stock, check out the link in the description to WeBull. If you open a new account and fund it with $100, you'll get a free stock valued up to $1,600. And if you're in Australia, the UK, or New Zealand, you can get a free stock with stake, also using the link in the description. Let's get back to it.
Press coverage of this event was sad.
It sure was, Elon. Frankly, incredibly embarrassing. It just goes to show how incompetent the Wall Street analysts who are analyzing Tesla stock actually are. Of course, I'm not surprised. Some of you may have a short memory. Others may have seen and remembered what I said in my Battery Day predictions video, but just in case you missed it, here's me forecasting how I thought Wall Street was likely to react to Tesla's Battery Investor Day before the event took place. Tesla's Roadrunner battery cell production line and BFC are absolute game changers. However, if history is anything to go by, there's a pretty high chance the stock market is going to look and go, what? After all, the Cybertruck reveal resulted in Tesla stock going. Same thing happened after Autonomy Day, two of the most important events in Tesla's history. In fact, the Cybertruck unveil got me so fired up because people were like, oh, I don't like the design. And I'm like, do you not fucking understand why it looks that way? Like, seriously, dude? Like, oh, fuck this. I need to start a YouTube channel. Literally, this is what happened. So yeah, I kind of saw this one coming. I was prepared. I sold all my internal organs, squeezed every last drop of cash I possibly could out of every crevice, nook and cranny, and threw it all into Tesla stock in the lead up to and the subsequent fallout of Battery Investor Day because I thought there's a reasonable chance the stock's going to take a dive. I'm going to buy a bit before and a bit after, and things worked out pretty well.
Most of the press takeaway was a sad reflection of their understanding, really.
Agreed, and this is actually a very important point. When I started this channel almost a year ago, I was screaming from the rooftops, Wall Street do not have any idea about Tesla. The mainstream finance media have no idea about Tesla. This is borne out once again. Yes, some retail investors in between now and then have figured out, okay, there's a huge opportunity here, but Wall Street still at this point in time are completely clueless. And to be honest, I wish analysts who don't have any fucking idea what they're talking about would shut the fuck up. I'm not trying to be rude or insult people, but look, if you don't know what you're doing, if you're incompetent at your job, you shouldn't have that job. They need new analysts. They need people who understand this technology. I cannot believe some of the coverage I've seen. I mean, some of the mainstream finance media was absolutely atrocious. By the way, a shout out to Gally for Hyperchange for destroying Yahoo Finance for their absolute idiocy regarding the Battery Investor Day coverage. If you guys haven't seen those clips, get on Twitter, find them. Hilarious.
All right, so explain it for them then.
I mean, I'll try.
Okay.
But I'm also not trying to convince people that much. The results will speak for themselves.
Quick shout out to my amazing Patreon patrons who basically heard me say the exact same thing not long ago. Somebody was asking, do you think Tesla should have made it easier to understand, to explain it to the analysts, simplified it, etc., had a slicker presentation? Elon Musk has effectively echoed my own words discussing his perspective. It's the same thinking. I said to my Patreon supporters very recently, it's not Tesla's job to explain stuff to people that don't understand what the fuck they're saying. Tesla are detailing the facts, the information. Here's what we're doing. Here's the technology. Here's the numbers. Here's the data. It's not their job to explain this to dumbasses. If the stock market doesn't get it, if analysts don't get it, that's not Tesla's fault. And this is their approach. People complain, oh my God, the presentations aren't slick. I don't get it. It's too technical. Not their problem. They're just telling us what they're doing. They're telling us about their technology and their plan, and that's that. You can't figure it out. It's your problem, not Tesla's. So if you guys haven't figured it out by now, here's a little bit of a pro tip. It's worthwhile following what the mainstream finance media, stock analysts, etc. are saying about companies that you own, because if there's a disconnect between your understanding and theirs, and it appears that you see further than they do, you've got more clarity than they do, you probably have an opportunity. Whereas if they're seeing and saying the same things as you, they know the same stuff, there's not an informational advantage. You're less likely to be buying the stock under value given a long-term investment horizon. And this is why I continue to pay attention to the opinions, thoughts and comments of the mainstream finance media and Tesla stock analysts. It's not that I'm trying to learn something from them. It's that I'm trying to learn something about them and their thinking, their understanding, or their lack thereof.
We have produced the cells we're talking about. We've produced many of them. Mm-hmm. We have had cars driving with those cells since May.
Just to give you guys a little bit of context, there were many in the mainstream finance media who, after Battery Investor Day, came out and said, "Oh, I'm so disappointed," and then went on to say that Tesla is still working out all sorts of kinks and problems. They don't know how to make these cells yet. It's all an idea. It's theoretical. They're not actually making these. There's so many problems. How do they get this to work? Meanwhile, those cells have been in prototype vehicles for months.
My premise is never to try to convince people why they should invest in Tesla. Sell your stock. I don't care.
I love these comments from Elon, and I completely agree. In fact, I've said many things to this effect on past videos, including when everyone was losing their fucking minds when Elon opened a factory in Fremont after Alameda County unlawfully and forcibly shut them down in defiance of national direction that said Tesla was an essential manufacturing business that must stay open. Here's my honest thoughts about owning Tesla stock. If you either don't understand Elon, this is very important, and or you're not behind Tesla's mission, and or you cannot handle volatility in the stock that you own, don't own Tesla stock. Just sit on the sidelines, cry in the corner, ask daddy to hold you. It'll be much safer, much more comfortable, and much less scary.
So in order to transform energy and transport, you have to make an ungodly, gargantuan amount of battery cells. There have been hundreds of car company startups over the years, hundreds. And yet the only companies that have not gone bankrupt are Ford and Tesla.
All right, so this one goes out to all those people that on the daily send me DMs and leave comments. Hey man, what do you think of NIO, Xpeng? I heard Helion's going to IPO. What do you think? Well, all I would like to say on that matter is I wish those companies all the best. Please refer back to the statistic that Elon Musk just shared about the only two automotive manufacturers in US history not to go bankrupt yet.
So one of the things, and I know you don't like to look at the stock market, but the number is so vast. Investors are saying something about Tesla, which is about the future, and it's especially accelerated lately. How do you look at that?
I think some critical mass of the market has concluded that Tesla will win, I guess.
Let me know in the comments below if you're also part of that critical mass that's decided Tesla has won.
I mean, I've gone on record already as saying I think the stock price is a bit high. That was well before its current level. So, but if you ask me, like, do I think Tesla will be worth more than this in 5 years? I think the answer is yes.
And I actually agree with Elon on this point. I've still been buying Tesla stock, and I've been mentioning every time I tell you guys I'm still buying Tesla stock. I don't think it's cheap today, but I do think it's going to look cheap in 5, 10, 15, 20 years time. Again, I have a very long-term horizon, 10 plus years, ideally multi-decade. I'm not planning on ever selling any of my Tesla stock. I plan to never need that, but in either case, my minimum hold period is at least until 2030. And through that lens, today's price on Tesla stock, dirt cheap. I just want to put this out there. I know most of you guys and girls are long-term investors, but if you're buying Tesla stock today, and you're an idiot, also known as somebody who thinks they're an investor but plans to hold the stock for like 2-3 years, you are an idiot, not an investor, and that's probably not a good idea. Might work out okay for you, might be fine, but I wouldn't take the chance. Oh, and by the way, that's not investment advice. That's just how not to be a moron advice. I mean, if somebody was about to jump into a pool of sharks, I'd say, you know what? You might survive jumping into that pool of sharks, but I'd say you're probably pretty dopey if you're going to jump in there. Same thing applies to Tesla stock over the short term. You're jumping in with sharks if you're not planning on holding this stock for a very long period of time, in my opinion. This month alone, I've dropped over 100k into Tesla stock. I'm still buying, but I have a very long-term investment time horizon, so I don't care what the stock's worth in 2 months, 2 years, 5 years. I seriously don't care.
And by the way, I mean, honestly, I feel a bit bad about hating on the oil and gas industry. If I can just honestly speak on their behalf for a second here.
All right.
I mean, for a lot of the people in the oil and gas industry, especially if they're on the older side, they kind of built their companies and did their work before it was clear that this was a serious issue. Mm-hmm. And now they feel probably kind of hard done by that, like people are making them out to be villains when they're for the longest time just working hard to support the economy and they didn't really know that it was going to be all that bad.
Elon has such a great heart. I mean, the fact that he's empathizing with people who've been in the oil and gas industry, doing their best, working over prior decades, not understanding the damage that they were doing, it's not really their fault. I mean, at this point in time, sure, we can be pretty harsh on oil and gas. The data's in, the science is clear, burning fossil fuels is bad for this planet and it's not a smart experiment to run. But I just want to point this out. I'm sure many people watching this are a little bit surprised and taken aback by those comments. If that's you don't understand Elon. Like I said, the guy's got a big heart. He's very logical and reasonable. There's no point hating on people who decades ago were doing something without awareness that it was damaging. I hope you guys have found this video insightful. Obviously, Elon and I are on the same page. The mainstream finance media and stock analysts in terms of Tesla had no idea what they saw at Battery Day. They still have no idea what they saw at Battery Day. That's why I've made about 15 videos about Battery Day in the 3 milliseconds since the event ended, because I'm trying to help people to understand what was seen, what was shown, and what was detailed, rather than what the fuddy media is putting out there. Oh, I'm so disappointing. Where's the million mile battery? By the way, like I said in a prior video, the million mile battery was there. They just didn't have a flashing neon sign pointing saying, hey, this is a million mile battery. Go back and watch the presentation. It's a cell chemistry for stationary storage, robotaxi, and the future compact car. I'm Stephen Mark Ryan. This is Solving the Money Problem, and I love you all. And don't forget your free stocks with WeBull and Stake using the links below. Deposit $100 in your WeBull account, you'll get a free stock valued up to $1,600, and Stake, spin the roulette wheel, you'll either get Nike, GoPro, or Dropbox. Thanks so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And of course, if you have any ideas for future videos, let me know. I read all your comments. P.S. If you're still watching, you're awesome. If you'd like early access, exclusive videos, regular Q&As, our private Discord server, and more, consider supporting the channel at patreon.com/solvingthemoneyproblem so I can keep creating content for you guys. There's a link in the description. You can now also become a member of the channel for some exclusive perks. To learn more, click the join button next to subscribe. And don't forget to check out our merch store. Either way, the best form of support is you being here and watching, so thanks again.